Everyone, Kevin here with Divinely Designed, and I thought I would do a card making video and focus a little bit on creating some paper flowers and how I use some Heartfelt Creation dies. I originally recorded this video talking, but it ended up being too long, so I'm speeding it up and doing a voiceover of it. So this is an example of a card I've already created using some Heartfelt Creation dies, and you can see the different kinds of flowers down in the bottom right hand corner. I used kind of multiple different flowers here. I'm going to use an example here today from Heartfelt Creations called the Classic Sunflower. I find this flower to be one of the easier ones to create. I really like Heartfelt Creations. I think they make beautiful flowers, and they're not hard. They just need a little bit of time and energy to sort of create them. So for the sunflower, I have found that making the tips of the flowers in a fairly darker color works really well and gives you a really nice looking end product here. Now I want to shape these flowers, and I'm going to spritz them with a little water just to sort of loosen up the fibers and make them easier to manipulate. When they dry, they will be very stiff. Now to make these flowers, um, you don't have to use the little ball tool, which you can purchase from Heartfelt Creations. I'm just sort of showing some of the tools here, which comes with different styluses and different sized rounding tools and the foam mat. If you don't have a foam mat, you can use a piece of craft foam. And typically you use that little ball tool to create circles or flares. For this one, you're going to take your two fingers and place them on the bottom portion of the leaf. Then with your other hand, use your thumb and your forefinger and sort of squish them to a point downward. So you're creating kind of a triangle shape at the end of the leaf. And you want to keep those two fingers at the base nice and firm so that you're not folding the entire leaf, just the tip of it. And that gives it a really kind of cool look, especially once you've sponged it. And if you're using distress inks like I used here, spraying it with water will help those distress inks to sort of become a little bit softer on the edges. So this is a much easier flower to form than some of the other Heartfelt Creations, which take a lot of sort of using of the stylus tools to shape the leaves. So we're going to focus on this one today. So I'm finishing up here, just doing the crimping of the leaves, the petals for all three layers, and then using the largest one and then the middle one and then layering the smaller one on top. Again, with those darker edges, it gives you a final look here that looks really great. Now I use the stylus tool to sort of create a little bit of depth here and a little bit of shape to the flower. And then I'm going to use a product called Prills in the middle. Since I'm trying to do sort of a classic sunflower here, I used a very dark color in the middle. Just adding some glue kind of in a thin layer and then sprinkling on the Prills. This gives it that nice kind of classic sunflower look here. I do spend a little bit of time sort of shaping the center here. Again, I think it's that attention to detail that gives you a final flower that looks really, really good. So I would just let that dry and then use it on a card. Now I do have several flowers that I've already created. Sometimes I just create several different flowers and then have them kind of in a box, and then when I'm ready to create a card, I have them available, because sometimes it does take a little while to create some of these. So these are some examples of some different dies from Heartfelt Creations. There's the classic sunflower. This one up top now is the I think it's called Delicate Aster. These pink ones are called Vintage Floret, which is sort of like a rose kind of. And these are done on vellum, which I think gives a really cool look to some of the flowers. But you can use, simple cardstock. And then something for the center, I think, helps it bring the flower sort of all together and gives it that kind of completed look there. So I have several flowers that I keep on hand if I want to create a card. Now I'm going to create a card using that sunflower in sort of the style of the pink one, which is kind of a distressed look. So I'm starting with a 5x7 craft card and then adding this pattern paper that has sort of a burlap pattern on it. And then I want to add this distressed mat, which I've created using some sprays on some watercolor paper. Now, I want to show you a technique for distressing the edge, and I use actually a Dremel tool. This is a cordless Dremel that comes with interchangeable heads. I'm using a sanding head here, but it works super well to make that distressed edge and takes no time at all. It's so much easier than using a distress tool. But just thought I'd share that with you. You can use different kinds of heads to give the edge a different kind of look. Just gluing this mat down now onto the burlap paper there. And then I'm going to add the flowers. Now on the pink flower card, I used a whole bunch of different flowers. On this card, I'm going to focus on one type of flower and sort of repeat it. And you can use the shaping tools for leaves as well. I find that, again, gives them a much more realistic kind of look. I also use some distress inks to do some shading, again, to give it some more visual interest. I have several different die cuts here that I'm gluing together for sort of the center portion, the focal point of the card where the sentiment will live. Now this middle oval I'm leaving blank simply because this card could be used for a number of different reasons, or with sentiments, and it's a complicated card. It's for a special occasion. It's not something you're probably going to mail. You're going to give it to somebody or include it with a gift. So I like to have a couple of these available without any sentiment so that I can add this sentiment later, because it could be a thank you card or a birthday card or an anniversary card or all different types here. I think this style sort of lends itself to a lot of different types of cards. And that way I can, create it because these cards do take a while. So adding some twine and then some leaves here as I put the card together. Now, a lot of times I do use hot glue. I like the immediacy of being able to put these complicated cards together and having them stick quickly. One of the other elements I'm using here is a floral pin that I've cut the sharp end off of. I like the pearls on the sort of silver pin portions. I think they look really good as a design element on a card like this. And lots of people use sort of strings of pearls. It's sort of the same concept, but a little bit of a cleaner kind of look. And I was going for more of a slightly more masculine feel here. So just using one of these big sunflowers I've created earlier and then a couple of smaller ones. I'm using 3 smaller ones to kind of give that triangle visual appeal, with sort of the bigger one in the middle. Again, kind of focusing on the corner as my element of where I hope sort of the eye starts and then leads up to the sentiment eventually to be added. Just a couple of still shots of both the sunflower card and then the pink multi-flower card that I originally started with. And that's it. Just a quick video shaping flowers, making floral cards. I hope you like this video. If you do, click that thumbs up button. And if you aren't subscribed, click on that subscribe button. Comments, questions, leave them below. Thank you all so much for watching. And have a fantastic day.